There's one major mistake that seniors typically make when trying to hire a roofer, and that mistake can end up costing them thousands of dollars. In this video, I'm going to share some stories of seniors who got scammed or ripped off by roofers, and then I'm going to explain to you what the one common mistake is that they all made and how you can avoid that. So we had an older man call us recently and kind of explain the situation that he was in with his roofer. He had a roofer who knocked on his door and was using some high pressure tactics to try to get the homeowner to let him get up and inspect the roof. Well, the senior homeowner was a little hesitant, but because of what I would call the consistent applied pressure from the guy at the door, the homeowner finally relented and let him go up and inspect the roof. So the roofing salesman did the inspection, came down off the roof and told the senior homeowner that he had hail damage on his roof and that he needed to file a claim. And he coerced the homeowner into filing a claim right then. Right now, you got to file a claim right now. And he presented the homeowner with a document that he said he needed the homeowner to sign so that he, the roofing salesman, could start working with the insurance company. But the homeowner told the roofing salesman that he wanted to have a chance to read the document so that he understood what he was signing. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of weird, because at that point, after some back and forth, and the roofing salesman never made any progress to get a signature on the document, the roofing salesman finally left, but he told the homeowner that if the homeowner decided that he wasn't going to use that roofing company, that the roofing company was going to charge him a fee for backing out of the deal, 25% of the total cost of the project. Now keep in mind, there is no project at this point. No estimate has been written, no claim has been filed, nothing has been done. But this salesman kept calling the homeowner and putting the pressure on him, telling him that if he didn't use that company, they were even going to sue him. So this elderly man was intimidated not only by the roofing salesman, but by the whole process and the prospect that he could end up having to pay this big fine to the roofing company and might actually even get sued. And that's why he called us, just to kind of get a sanity check after he saw some of our videos, especially one about this very topic. Now, the next story is about an older man that lives in our community here, and he was approached by a roofer who told the homeowner that he could get him a totally free roof. Well, that's a lie. And he convinced the homeowner to give him a down payment of $5,000, which the homeowner did. Then you know what happened? The roofer just kind of disappeared, totally ghosted the homeowner, even though they were almost neighbors. They lived really close. So it's not like the roofer just disappeared and skipped town. He just stopped responding to the homeowner once he got his $5,000 deposit payment.
Keyline wrote him a check up front, but Koklischer never came back.
He took the money evidently and had a real good Christmas.
Oh, and the roofer wasn't even licensed to do the work here in our county.
There's my license. Shows it expires December 31st, 2013. That's just a copy of it.
Eventually, the homeowner got a court judgment against the roofer for his $5,000 plus an additional $10,000, but he had to go through that whole process of bringing this to court before a judge, had to go through that whole headache. And even though the court found in the homeowner's favor and awarded him a settlement of $15,000, the roofer never paid it.
I mean, the court ruled that you owe him that money.
I do. That's what we decided.
So where is it? I don't have any money.
Oh, and by the way, the roofer, nothing ever happened to him, even though he had a court order against him to pay that fine, and he never paid it.
I've always been under the impression that if the judge in a court tells you you have to do something, that's what you have to do.
The next story is about a 75-year-old homeowner who had an insurance claim and had all of his insurance money up front right around $12,000. He got 3 different quotes from roofers for a full roof replacement. 2 of them were right around the $12,000 figure. One of them was for about $9,000. And the roofer told him, well, this is a great deal because you get to pocket the extra $3,000. Well, the homeowner thought, hey, that sounds like a pretty decent deal. I'm going to jump at that. And so he signed the contract with Mr. $9,000 roofer. The problem was about a year after the roof got done, the roof developed several leaks. So he called the phone number for Mr. $9,000 roofer, and wouldn't you know it, Mr. $9,000 roofer is out of business. So now there's no way to contact Mr. $9,000 roofer, and the homeowner now has no warranty or no way to get warranty work done to fix the leaks that were caused by Mr. $9,000 roofer. So then he ended up having to have another roofer come inspect the roof. They found multiple problems, so many problems that they decided that the best course of action was to re-roof the house again. So what that did is it put the homeowner in the position of having to pay to have his roof replaced again a year after it was replaced before by Mr. $9,000 roofer, and the homeowner had to pay completely out of pocket for the second re-roof. Another senior homeowner got a roof quote that was one of those too good to be true kind of quotes where it was just exceptionally low. So of course he also jumped at the chance, signed the contract. But as the project progressed, the cheap roofer kept coming to the homeowner and saying that he found this thing that was wrong, or this thing that needed to be addressed, or this thing that needed fixing. And so the cost of the project then got right back up to where it would have been had he hired one of the more expensive roofers. But the problem was that all of the things that the roofer came to the homeowner and told him needed to be added to the cost of the project or to the scope of the project were all things that the roofer should have known about when he did his original inspection. But he wanted the job, he was commission hungry, and so he bid it low, knowing or assuming that he was going to be able to make up those dollars once the project got started. Because once you got the roof torn off, homeowners not typically going to try to fight about something that the roofer's telling him that needs to be done. Okay, but here's the reality of the situation. In most areas, most cities, all shingles cost about the same as long as they're equivalent shingles. So a standard builder grade shingle and this standard builder grade shingle are going to cost about the same. Now, once you compare a builder grade shingle to an upgraded, like an impact resistant shingle, then the cost changes. But just keep that in mind. Equivalent shingles are all going to cost about the same. In a particular city, the labor costs to do the tear off and install are all going to be about the same. So if each roofer is paying roughly an equivalent amount for the material and an equivalent amount for the labor, then the quotes that you're getting should be pretty close. Now, there could be a disparity if you're using a roofer that it's just him and he subs out his labor and he runs his business out of his house, compared to a company that has multiple employees, they have an office, they have insurance, there's overhead costs that needs to be factored in. Okay, but by and large, the estimates that you're getting for your roof should be pretty close. If there's a big disparity, that should be a big red flag. But what do you think is the one common mistake that all these senior homeowners make? In my opinion, I think it's that they just acted way too quickly. They just kind of jumped the gun. And that might have been because of high pressure from the roofing salesman. It might have been because they thought that they were going to miss out on some great deal. But regardless, they didn't think things through. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't do their research. They didn't let the process just kind of work itself out and take an appropriate amount of time. But why does this happen? Well, in my opinion, I think it's because the older generations tend to be more trusting. Well, for the most part. Or I should say that at least they want to be more trusting. They're used to being able to take people at their word. But the elderly also aren't really inclined to want to go up on their roof to verify that what the roofing salesman is telling him about the condition of his roof is really in fact the condition of his roof. They're also not super inclined to want to go up on the roof after the job to make sure that the job was done correctly. So if you're a senior and you need a new roof, what should you do really to protect yourself? Well, please take your time as you go through the process. Really think things through. Every roofer that you're talking to, make sure that the roofer has general liability insurance, which protects your property, and that everybody that's going to be on your property or on your house also is covered by workers' comp insurance, because that protects you if somebody gets injured on your property. Also, don't be afraid to talk to 2 to 3 different roofers and actually interview them, and don't make your decision based only upon what the final price is. You want to take everything into consideration. But don't commit to anything with any of them until you absolutely trust one of them. And please, please don't sign anything until you've actually decided on the roofer that you want to use because you trust that roofer. Next, ask the roofer if he will wait to collect a deposit from you until you have materials actually on your property. This protects you because if you give a roofer, like the story that I told you about the guy that gave the roofer $5,000, if you give a roofer money and there's no guarantee that he's going to do the job and he just leaves with your check, you're out that money. And if that was your insurance check, your insurance company's not going to give you another check. But if you hire a roofer and give him a deposit check, once you've got materials, then if he skips out, then at least you've got the material that you've paid for and you can hire another roofer to actually do the work. Lastly, if you feel like you need some help to get through this process of choosing a roofer, we've got a free PDF that tells, basically it walks you through the whole process, everything that you need to know to help you find and interview and hire the right roofer for your project. It has a nice list of interview questions that you can ask every roofer and write down their responses. Plus, it also has basically a request for proposal form. It's got a big list of criteria on there that you can give to each one of the roofers. So that way, when you get the estimates from them, if they've included all those things that you've asked for, you know you're getting apples to apples estimates. So if you want this free PDF, all you have to do is send an email to the email address at the bottom of the screen and we'll send it to you for free. And if you're a senior and you have a story to tell that was just like a nightmare roofing project or a nightmare roofer experience, and you want to tell that story in a video on our channel, we would love to hear from you. Send an email to that address at the bottom of the screen and we'll set that up for you. But if you have a story to tell about a roofer or a roofing experience that was great, that you thought was just a wonderful experience, we want to know that too. And we want to tell everybody else. We want to tell all of our viewers about that also. So contact us. Let us know if you'll be willing to be in a video with us.